Luffy vs Sasuke, Naruto vs Kaido in Onigashima. What would happen if the moon goddess Kaguya met the sun god Nika? But above all, what would have happened if Luffy and Naruto switched places? Going through the entire series, how would the final battle in Shippuden end? Could Luffy unlock Gear 5th? Could Naruto defeat Imu-sama and Luffy defeat Kaguya? Today I will answer all these questions, but to make it make sense, we have to give a little context. For this video to make sense, we will switch the two protagonists with each other at the age of 7, so Luffy would have already consumed his devil fruit and Naruto would have somewhat lived with Kurama inside him before starting at the academy. However, we will switch Luffy at the exact moment he consumes the Gomu Gomu no Mi fruit. Because if we do this, we will relive through Naruto the moment when Shanks gives him the straw hat, confusing him with Luffy who had just disappeared. We can consider this phenomenon of them switching places as a spatio-temporal anomaly, in which everyone now confuses Naruto with Luffy and vice versa. So now we have these two, Naruto with no knowledge of the pirate world and Luffy with no knowledge of the shinobi world. Since this video is divided in two parts, one in which we place Luffy in Naruto's world and the other in which we place Naruto in One Piece, you will find part 2 on Art of Anime's channel. What happens is that the two of them grow up similarly. Naruto, now Monkey D. Naruto, after being saved by Shanks, similarly receives the Straw Hat, promising him that he will one day become a great pirate and defeat him to become the king of the pirates. It's worth mentioning that the dream of becoming a Hokage is very similar to becoming a pirate king. The only difference being that Luffy wanted to become pirate king for a later purpose. Because, for example, he did not want, like Naruto, to become a Hokage to just protect the village. So Naruto now believes that by becoming the king of the pirates, he will be the one to save the entire world, in a way a symbol of peace and change people's mentality towards pirates. Well, as in the original series, Shanks and the pirates set sail and never returned to Fusha village. Garp, Luffy's grandfather, now Naruto's grandfather, takes him to the mountain bandits, where he meets the one who will become his rival, Portgas the Ace. Naruto was 7 years old and Ace 10. It's also worth mentioning that Naruto has a very different personality from Luffy's, which leads him to develop different relationships with certain characters. As in this moment when, as we know quite well, Ace now spits on Naruto, so he gets angry with him. Despite Naruto's hatred towards Ace, they are forced to live together. But so far everything is exactly the same as in the original series, so what would have been the major changes? One important thing to note is the moment when Ace throws Luffy off the cliff, disappearing and reappearing in the evening full of bites, bruises and blood. This wouldn't have happened because Naruto wouldn't have tried to befriend this Ace, but rather to thwart him. At one point, Ace and Sabo meet and save money for when they become pirates, so then Naruto catches them in the act. Everything happens exactly the same. Naruto is caught by the bandits and is massacred by them. Eventually they all flee, and somehow they become brothers, while still maintaining the rivalry with Ace. Just like in the original series, they all declared their great dreams by drinking sake and thus becoming brothers. Sabo similarly will have an almost death experience when he tries to escape from his family and become a pirate. Naruto and Ace continue to grow apart, bearing a deep mutual hatred for the death of Sabo. 7 years later, when Naruto is 14 and Ace 17, the latter sets sail, becoming a pirate. Naruto trains for another 3 years, discovering more about his inner power, Kurama, whom he starts to get to know bit by bit. Naruto's relationship with Kurama will be exactly the same as in the Naruto series, the two being very distant from each other at first. I decided to detail their childhood because it's important for what we will discuss further. But since One Piece has more than 1100 chapters, I will limit myself to the most important moments and fights. To begin with, Naruto sets sail at 17, just like Ace, defeating the sea monster that ate Shanks' arm. Naruto's attacks will not be based on haki or the Gomu Gomu no Mi fruit, since he doesn't have those powers, but will be based on chakra, an inner power he discovers through Kurama, hitting the monster with his fist infused with chakra. From here everything happens the same. Naruto frees Kobe, defeating Alvida, goes to get Zoro, somewhat recreating the same moment where Zoro promises loyalty to Luffy, defeating Morgan and setting sail, leaving Kobe behind to become a marine. For the upcoming events, we must consider that the series will happen 90% the same way, with the same dialogue, events and fate. So let's talk about fights. The first major opponent Naruto encounters is Buggy, who proves to be very hard to beat, because he possesses the Bara Bara no Mi Devil Fruit, which splits him into many pieces. It should be noted that haki doesn't yet exist in this part of the story, so Naruto and Zoro must limit themselves to using swords and chakra. The problem is that the swords don't cut him. This means that it's up to Naruto to solve the situation. So how does he do it, you ask? Well, he tries a talk no jutsu, but he actually forgets that he's in the One Piece universe, where pirates are bad because they wanna be. After being beaten by Buggy, Naruto is forced to reveal his first great ability, Rasengan, with which he instantly defeats Buggy, who is sent flying. Later, Naruto, Zoro and now Nami travel to Syrup Village, where the whole storyline with Captain Kuro takes place. In my opinion, it wouldn't be such a big problem for Naruto, who could easily defeat him with Rasengan. The village will be liberated and Usopp will join the crew, also acquiring the Going Merry ship. If Captain Kuro wasn't a problem, neither will be Don Krieg. Luffy defeated him with brute force, even through his spikes, which could have easily been done by Naruto as well. After the threat is eliminated, Zoro fights Mihawk and after being defeated, declares that he will never lose again. Sanji joins the crew, and the crew will be called the same as in the original series, the Straw Hats, because Naruto would have Shanks' hat. Arlong is the next major antagonist Naruto would face in this universe. Events up to him will be similar, and here I refer mainly to the moment when Naruto puts the straw hat on Nami's head and tells her he will help her, heading with the others to Arlong Park. Naruto would now be in love with Nami, not only because of her appearance, but also because it will be almost the same case as with Sakura. A small difference from the original story is that Naruto not only helps her because of friendship, but because he has deep feelings for her. Naruto would arrive at Arlong Park, where even though Arlong is a fishman, he stands no chance against Naruto, who not only is unaffected by the sea, but it's also revealed that he can control water through jutsu similar to fishman karate techniques. Arlong is defeated by Naruto, who similarly throws him through the entire building. Our crew then travels to Logtown, where they reunite with Alvida and Buggy, and Naruto is captured in the stand and saved by Dragon, and then saved again when Smoker catches him in his smoke. Note that Smoker is a Logia user, so any of Naruto's techniques cannot affect him. For it to make sense, we must say that Dragon considers Naruto as his own son, because the temporal anomaly works similarly to Eida's omnipotence. Just like in Boruto, where Boruto and Kawaki swapped places, the same thing happened here with Luffy and Naruto. After this event, Naruto and the crew head towards the Grand Line to start their journey, and on the boat they declared their dreams while putting their feet on the barrel. But the Grand Line is the battleground for all the pirates that want to reach Gold Roger's treasure, the One Piece. So Naruto needs to improve to face the upcoming threats. Whiskey Peak should also be mentioned, where Luffy fights Zoro, in this case Naruto with Zoro, and it should be noted that at this point Naruto stands no chance against him. We consider that Naruto eventually reaches Arabasta to help Vivi, where he not only suffers the same fate as Luffy initially did against Crocodile when he is impaled by his hook, but in the final battle he finds out that chakra techniques are useless against him, and through a miracle discovers that blood and sweat are the enemy's weakness. So in a badass scene, Naruto will defeat him and free the country from his dominion. At this point, Chopper, who they picked from Drum Island before Arabasta, and Robin, who joined the crew by herself, are also part of the team. However, the biggest problem will be Skypiea, the encounter and battle with Enel, the man made of lightning. As we know, Luffy could face Enel only because he was made of rubber, which does not apply to Naruto. So the scene where Enel strikes Luffy and he gets up as if nothing happened would result in Naruto being completely fried without the ability to get up. And everything will end right here and now, if Naruto didn't unlock his next great ability, the rasenshuriken, which is said to affect the opponent at a cellular level, meaning he wouldn't even need to touch Enel directly, so he could defeat him easily. Eventually they recruit Frankie and arrive at the battle with Rob Lucci. If you remember, Luffy had to use Gear 2nd and 3rd combined to beat Rob Lucci. So here we have two options on how Naruto could face Rob Lucci. Either Naruto discovers Gear 2nd, the problem being that, as Lucci said, that form shortens the user's life because it accelerates the heart and blood flow, meaning Naruto will actually lose years of his life. The advantages being that he could become much stronger and faster. But I will prefer the second option, which is Naruto discovering Sage Mode. Not only can he use normal chakra, but he can also use nature chakra, which amplifies his power and speed possibly even more than a simple Gear 2. So the ending will be the same. Robin will be saved and Enies lobby destroyed. The story between Usopp and Naruto will remain the same, meaning they would still have to change the ship, and Usopp would feel revolted, resulting in the fight between the two. In Thriller Bark, Naruto would face Gekko Moria. Just like Luffy, Naruto will not only enter Sage Mode but would also be in the Nightmare Naruto form, having received the shadows of everyone on the island, thus possessing many abilities and the power of many souls, which helps him defeat Gekko Moria and Ors. Freeing Thriller Bark, Kuma would arrive and Zoro would accept all of Naruto's pain to save him. Everything will be exactly the same in Sabaody, where Naruto would punch the Celestial Dragon for what he did to Hachan, and Naruto and the crew would be separated in Sabaody by Kuma. Then he would end up on Amazon Lily, where things would be different. Since Boa Hancock is known as the most beautiful woman in the world, he will clearly fall in love with her at first sight, meaning Naruto becomes a stone statue. Unlike Luffy, who did not feel any attraction towards her, even after seeing her completely naked. But still, Boa would remove him from the stone form and eventually agree to help him, though the dynamic will be different between the two. But in this arc it's also revealed that Ace, his brother, will be executed. Naruto would have a very strange reaction. On one hand, he holds on to the hatred he has for Ace since Sabo died, but on the other, Naruto still considers Ace as his brother. There is a kind of inner conflict between the two parts. But one thing is certain, he must go and save him. This leads to Impel Down, which similarly ends up with Naruto not catching up to Ace but forming an army which then uses to invade Marineford, which he does. But the problem is that Naruto doesn't unlock Conqueror's haki like Luffy, but still manages to eventually save Ace, having a joyous reunion, I will say. They both flee, but eventually Akainu jumps to kill Naruto. And just like in the original series, Ace sacrifices himself to save him. The idea is that unlike the version with Luffy, this moment has much more significance. Naruto has hated and rivaled Ace his entire life, often thinking to himself that he wished he had died. But now he has Ace in his arms dead and realizes that even though he felt distant from him, he still was his brother and loved him. Ace's last words being, "Thank you, Naruto, for loving me." That is the moment when Naruto unlocks Kurama Chakra mode through a conversation with Kurama, but eventually falls unconscious and is saved by Jinbei. After this, similarly, Naruto realizes he still has his friends and continues to train for the next 2 years with Rayleigh. Though Rayleigh tries to teach him haki, Naruto does not have the ability to learn it because he possesses chakra, and thus somehow mimicking Rayleigh through chakra instead of haki. In these 2 years, he makes peace with Kurama, reaching a kind of friendship and agreement, then opening the gates he had cracked open at Marineford. They all reunite after the 2 years in Sabaody and head towards their next destination. Fishman Island would not be a problem, nor would Punk Hazard be. Naruto and Law will start their alliance, and with the new Kurama mode he had trained in the past 2 years, Naruto would easily defeat the Flamingo, enter Whole Cake Island and have a tough battle with Katakuri, where he also wins. This happens after he develops a chakra technique similar to observation haki, allowing him to observe a few moments into the future. Eventually in his journey, Naruto reaches Wano, where he is defeated for the first time by Kaido, imprisoned, and develops another advanced technique for his form, a variation of Ryuo, but infusing his own chakra into the opponent's body, then petrifying it with Senjutsu chakra. Thus, in Onigashima, Naruto holds his ground perfectly against Kaido, using the ability he perfected in prison, petrifying Kaido's scales with Senjutsu chakra and then destroying them. The only problem now is that Kaido uses advanced Conqueror's haki, for which Naruto has no answer. so he's defeated again, eventually managing to get back on his feet and return to the top with Momonosuke's help, and the final battle between him and Kaido occurs. Despite now being much stronger and using all the techniques he has, Naruto is distracted by the CP0 agent Guernica and is killed by Kaido. At this moment we switch to Naruto's inner world, where he has a final conversation with Kurama, who says that there is a possibility to defeat Kaido. If they clash their chakra cores, they can create a nuclear-like explosion similar to that of the sun, unlocking a much greater power for a few minutes, but at the cost of whoever runs out of the chakra first will die. Thus Naruto enters the red form, Baryon mode, rising from the dead. So there's nothing to say more. Naruto makes a mockery out of Kaido in this form, ultimately defeating him, ending his reign. The problem is that Baryon mode expires and Kurama unfortunately dies, or so we all thought. It turns out that through a miracle, a small part of Kurama remains inside Naruto, because it's said in the Naruto series that the Bijou Beasts don't actually die, but they are reborn. But since Naruto is the only one with chakra in this world, the Bijou Beast is reborn only in him, meaning he can use Baryon mode infinitely. Jinbei also joins the crew. Because we don't know yet what will happen after the Egghead Island arc, the manga hasn't been written yet, I will theorize that similarly it will be revealed about Joy Boy in Vegapunk's message, and that the world is destined to be synced into the sea, just like in the Void Century. The major difference in this case is that our Joy Boy, Luffy, was sent at age 7 into another universe, meaning he is no longer in this one. That means that there is no Joy Boy to fulfill the prophecy. This means that even if Naruto finds the One Piece treasure, he won't be able to use it and won't be able to defeat Imu, or if by some miracle he does defeat Imu, the world will still be destined to sink into the sea. This means that Naruto will die along with the entire One Piece world. This will be the inevitable conclusion that the world would reach if Luffy was not in it. Only through the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika can someone use what is found on the last island, the Laugh Tale. But if you like my content, you can subscribe right here on your left, this amazing video on your right. Thanks for watching, and sayonara.